Zhang Yi still underestimated the wildness of the four major bases. Their touch has reached the core area of the Shishan district. Fortunately, Zhang Yi accidentally discovered their movements. Otherwise, the consequences are absolutely unimaginable. It was just now. Zhang Yi pinched her nose. See her playful appearance. He couldn't help but feel a long-lost warmth. But this girl, as soon as you think about it, you can go out immediately. I am so excited, boss. Take a look. I wear this dress. Does it look like a senior girl leader? That's all. The two of them frolicked in front of the door. If it's not the end times now. This scene is really cozy. But before I go out, Zhang Yi suddenly became serious again. After all, it's dangerous out there. No one can predict whether danger will occur. So, he still took out a pistol from a space. Handed it to Lu Karen. She took the pistol and gave it a shot. As a top mechanic. How to use modern weapons. No need for Zhang Yi to explain at all. So the two of them drove from Skylark Villa. Drive towards Hongyuan Group, which is 20 kilometers away. On the way, Lu Karen asked what was in her heart. Boss, can you talk to me now? How on earth are you going to deal with my classmates? Hearing this, Zhang Yi smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. Do you hate them that much? Hearing Zhang Yi say that, Lu Karen immediately became excited, of course. Boss, those people are just animal. I don't want to see them again at all. I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. That's all. Zhang Yi has been in the car listening to the complaints Lu Karen. Even for a moment, he has a kind of desire to put his own plan. Tell this girl the urge. But Zhang Yi knew. The flammable character of the road is really too careless. It is very likely that she will leak her mouth one day. If Liang Yu knew about this, it will definitely affect their relationship. So Zhang Yi had to change his words. Come and appease this innocent girl around you. Don't worry. Their lives won't last forever. Comfortable, based on the survival ability of those moths alone. Sooner or later they will starve to death in the village. Even if they don't starve to death, they didn't get it. After all, there are crises everywhere. Uncertain, there will be other forces to help us solve them. Of course, yeah. I'm sure I won't hurt them with my tentacles. After all, I promise good luck to keep them safe. So, let's see if they have the luck to survive. But boss, Teacher Liang's heart is very soft. If an outsider really attacks us, she will definitely bring my classmates, hiding around our shelter. Hear Karen's simple idea. Zhang Yi smiled disapprovingly. Do you think our next enemy? It's all trash, isn't it? It's been a long time since the end of the world. Once another foreign enemy invades, those people are definitely not simple enemies. So even if they were killed, I believe Liang Yu will also understand us. Speaking of which, Zhang Yi suddenly reached out and pinched Lu Karen's nose. If this happens, how should you behave? I want to teach you. Your teacher Liang loves you both the most. Sometimes my words don't work for Liang Yu, but your words are different. So it's up to you to behave. This time, Lu Karen finally understood the meaning of Zhang Yi's. Isn't this just to brainwash Liang Yu with her? This is the kind of thing I am most willing to do. Then a trace flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. Responsibility of the Lu Karen. Although he doesn't really want to take advantage of Lu Karen. But this silly girl sometimes. I really can't hide shit in my heart. So that's it. Teach her to do something tactfully. It didn't take long for the two of them finally arrived at the location of Hongyuan Group. But when he arrived at the factory, but found that the snow surface not far away, parked several cars at a time. I'm really more afraid of what's coming. Then Zhang Yi took out the telescope. It turns out it does matter. It made him nervous. Because these three cars are not just snowmobiles, it's a modified car. Obviously, this is some kind of all-kiter. Ordinary people can't get these weapons and equipment at all. At this moment, Lu Karen also felt stressed. She anxiously asked Zhang Yi what he saw. After all, he's just a little girl. She's really afraid of encountering enemies. However, in the next second, Zhang Yi handed the telescope directly to Lu Karen. It means you can see for yourself. You should also be mentally prepared. The result is Lu Karen after seeing those modified cars. Can't help but complain. How did these guys make cars look like this? This shape is too ugly. On the other hand, Zhang Yi directly opened the door to another dimension, because he didn't think of it at all. How ambitious these people are. Invaded the Shishan district so soon. Chap 276. But this time, he took the initiative to negotiate with the enemy. Little did he know what he was doing, just to protect the girl around me. It was just now. Zhang Yi looked at the enemy in front of him with some hesitation. He knows that in the event of a conflict with the other party, Lu Karen will face a very dangerous situation, and even if I negatively affect the other party, but if it is not handled properly, can also have quite serious consequences. Besides, he can't do it now. Understand the opponent's strength. I don't know which group of people are on the other side. If he attacked rashly, it also does not conform to Zhang Yi's consistent style, so he thought deeply about it. However, at this moment, the words of Lu Karen, she probably thought of something. Boss, those people really don't know how to modify at all. I guess. The speed of their vehicles maintain a maximum of 30 kilometers per hour. Fuel consumption should also be several times that of ours. What a bunch of idiots. Hear, hear. Zhang Yi couldn't help but ask if Lu Karen, what do you mean? This kind of modification will cause the fuel consumption of the car to increase exponentially. Yeah, SUVs are better than our snowmobiles. Much higher weight, plus the weaponry on the roof. All I can say is that these guys are really rich. At this moment, Zhang Yi finally knew who the other party was. Someone who doesn't care about gas consumption. It can only be the Yangsheng base that controls the energy. But these people are so cruel. How dare they cross the entire Almami city? Take the lead in grabbing the territory of Shishan base. Aren't they afraid of their own brain sockets being taken? According to you, it seems to be really those people, boss. But they own the refinery. This resource is for them. Shouldn't it be nothing? Exactly. But now that we know who the other party is, we're ready to act. Come anyway. We can't go back empty-handed. I'll go talk to them later. It would be best if it could be negotiated. If not, can only be used as a last resort. Subsequently, Zhang Yi drove not far from these people. His appearance. Instantly, the soldiers on the opposite side became nervous. Then everyone raised their guns in unison, aimed at Zhang Yi's snowmobile, while yelling stop. This place has been taken down by us. Which base are you from? If you know each other, leave me quickly. Don't make us do it. On the other hand, Zhang Yi, he has already made a plan to deal with it. My own for time speed has been blessing. As long as the other party dares to act rashly, he will count all these people without mercy. Beheaded here. Then Zhang Yi got out of the car alone. Raise your hands and walk slowly towards them. Don't get me wrong. I mean no harm, since you discovered the place first. Here you go. I'm just wondering if you could just cut me some slack. I just want to get some materials. I'll go after taking it. However, after the other party saw Zhang Yi, all looked unbelievable, because Zhang Yi is wearing the combat uniform of Shishan base. In their impression, Shishan base should be destroyed. Why are there still remnants? Think of this. Some of them did not take Zhang Yi back. This is because in their understanding, a wiped out organization. What other great characters could there be? However, some people also know to avoid its edge, because he knows, since the other party can survive the ruins, there must be something special about it. So he carefully warned the crowd, don't act rashly. However, at this moment, they already have someone to think about. Zhang Yi's snowmobile, because they opened their own mountains and fires. Zhang Yi's car is in their eyes, like a sports car. But their captain is not there. So these people, I don't dare to do anything excessive. Subsequently, they urgently informed their captain of the situation and shouted to Zhang Yi at the same time, you wait where you are. The thing you just said. I have to wait until our captain arrives to talk to you in person. Zhang Yi smiled faintly, okay? I can wait. Then his eyes tilted slightly. Then you know what the captain in their mouth is doing. It turned out that it's the old way Zhang Yi used to do. Just use a rope. Fishing into the factory building through the skylight. However, this approach is for them. It can only be used for reconnaissance. I want to take out the contents. Only Zhang Yi. This kind of divine art that can be stored in space is fine. That's all. Zhang Yi waited hard in the snow, because he's not in a hurry. Even if Tan Bu Long, he and Hua also have the certainty of victory. Not long. A man finally crawled out of the factory building. Look at the mark on his shoulder. Recognized at a glance. This person is from Yangsheng base. Look at this posture. Even if he is not alone, it must also be the captain and character of this squad. The strength is definitely the strongest. So the first time after a man is rotten, Zhang Yi has already locked the man. He knew the show was about to begin. These little kilometers at Saint Base, I really think my life is long. They actually dared to secretly attack the god of death Zhang Yi. Little do you know, it is because of their own decision. Will cause the entire team to be buried here. It was just now, Captain Gao Gao of Yangsheng base walked to Zhang Yi's side. His eyes are very sharp. He kept looking at Zhang Yi for a moment. He really wanted to know, what position does Zhang Yi belong to in Shishan base? Hearing this, Zhang Yi smiled coldly. It seems that Shishan base is the strongest base. It still makes them a little afraid. So Zhang Yi immediately decided, borrow the name of Zhang Beihai, the captain of the Shishan Special Forces. I came here just to get some things. Sure enough, when the other party heard Zhang Yi report his home, their faces became a little more dignified. Then the man's expression was obviously a little bad, because he mistakenly thought that Zhang Yi had come to join with them. Then he said coldly to Zhang Yi, don't blame me for not warning you. You'd better not have anything against us. Dangerous idea. Our team is very strong. If you have bad intentions, you will die. No one can win when fighting with our Yangsheng base at all. At this moment, Zhang Yi was obviously relieved, because it's not hard to tell from the other party's tone. They have recognized Zhang Yi's identity. Then Zhang Yi said, I don't want to be enemies with each other. I need some materials factory. There's no need to make the atmosphere so tense. You can have them all if you like. I just need your indulgence. There are some materials that are just what we need right now, so I hope you don't stop me. We'll take it and go. Hearing this, the man fell into deep thought. Their original plan, it is to occupy some material points in Nujiang district, but what they didn't expect was, you will meet the remnants of Shishan base. If because of this small building material factory, conflict, it's not worth the cost. Random. The man said, I only give you half an hour. Zhang Yi immediately agreed. Then he immediately waved at Lu Karen, motioned her out of the car, because Zhang Yi didn't dare to leave Lu Karen in the car alone. If they really attack, Lu Karen will be in danger. Besides, looking for materials also requires her to identify. So anyway, Zhang Yi will also take her with him. At this moment, Lu Karen was both excited and nervous. Zhang Yi is out of security concerns. She held him in her arms. It made him fawn. Fantasy. Then Lu Karen asked Boss Zhang Yi in a low voice, don't we put our car away? What if they steal it? Zhang Yi did not explain much. It's just a simple sentence, don't worry, they can't take it away. The reason why Zhang Yi did this, out of sheer caution, because since Ling Feng died, he set himself a railroad. Unless we have to, he will never show it in front of outsiders. Show your ability, that's all. Under the gaze of these soldiers, slowly approached the factory building, but just then, Plateau made the most of his life. A decision to regret. He's very fast. I don't know where he pulled out a pistol. Then with lightning speed, a shot was fired at Zhang Yi's back. He's very fast. If it is an ordinary person, they can't see his movements at all. But who are Zhang Yi and Hua? The moment he get ready to take him gun, one cat has already reacted. Hua Wajing! It jumped to Zhang Yi's in an instant. Stopped all the bullets for him. Lu Karen at this moment is going to be stupid. She didn't expect it at all. These people say they will do it. Fortunately, the opponent's attack can't cause damage to Hua, so heart of Lu Karen relax a lot. But this scene scared the soldiers on the opposite side. They've only heard of mutants. Where have you seen mutant creatures? A cat suddenly become bigger than the house. Isn't this a monster? Although Plateau is also very confused, but he quickly reacted, immediately shout out to the crowd, everyone, aim for the monster's eyes, hit me hard. Obviously, Hua was completely enraged by their move. Bright red eyes, the eyes seemed to be spilling blood. Only see the next second, the air suddenly turned into an afterimage, rushing towards one of the soldiers. And these they can't see at all. The figure of Hua, and when they do, already died in the mouth of flowers. Other people see this and hurry up, kill and flee. These soldiers from Yangsheng base, they actually took out an authentic tube at the same time, injected into there. This scene can't help but remind Zhang Yilian that she once attacked. Stimulants injected at Shishan base. If he guessed correctly, the high probability is that this can be improved in a short time. Combat drugs. Sure enough, right after they were injected, they're getting bigger. The veins on his face popped up even more. Gives a feeling that strangers are not allowed to enter. Lu Karen was so scared that her face turned white. She tried to close his eyes. As long as you can't see them, they don't see themselves. However, Zhang Yi has not been in a hurry to make a move. He has been observing the situation on the field. What he most wants to know now is, are there any psychics in this group? That's all. Hua alone monopolizes all the soldiers opposite. It's called a hardy. Even the more you fight, the braver it become, although their speed has been significantly improved. But unfortunately, they are not facing humans, even the original Lin Feng. Hua also dares to fight with him about her speed. However, at this critical juncture, Plateau has secretly come behind Zhang Yi. Just a bang! A bullet in flames, shooting at Zhang Yi's head. Chapter 7-4. Before being shot, Zhang Yi had begun to be wary. The next second, he used superpowers. Just because Zhang Yi has awakened the strongest power, space-time domain, the main function of this ability, it is the space where objects can be converted at will. However, he is such a ruthless person. There are still people who dare to challenge his majesty. Although the speed of the bullet is very fast, but Zhang Yi didn't feel nervous at all, even a little excited, because he finally found her. Psychic. However, this scene scared Lu Karen. She hugged Zhang Yi tightly. She dared not let go for a moment. Fortunately, Zhang Yi was already alert. He was in the first place. It opens up its own space. In an instant, the bullet disappeared in front of everyone. That's what makes Lu Karen and relieved. Plateau was not too surprised to see this situation, as if this blow. Like to test, does Zhang Yi have the same ability? But Zhang Yi doesn't plan to. Let them be so arrogant. Since these people are so ignorant, Zhang Yi had no choice but to send them back to the dive. Then Zhang Yi raised his gun and shot. During the period, don't forget to tell the road to burn and cover your ears. This did make Zhang Yi elegant. However, it seems that Zhang Yi simply fired a few shots. Little do they know that since Zhang Yi comprehended the power of one power, his precision shooting has also evolved. On the other hand, these soldiers at Yangsheng base, they're very responsive. Just as Zhang Yi drew his gun, everyone has already started to disperse. But what they didn't expect was, no matter how much combat experience you have, it can't match the bullets fired by Zhang Yi. Because these bullets are like eyes. No matter where you run, he can draw a perfect arc in the air. Finally, accurately hit the enemy's head. And so it was until this special forces captain, at the last moment of life, he didn't want to believe what was happening. He was actually prepared. Can get a headshot. Because he doesn't understand, why does this bullet automatically turn? But it's too late to say that now. They've run out of remorse medicine. Lu Karen now. Her eyes were full of admiration. The excitement of she is not disguised in the slightest. At the same time, Hua's side also solved the battle. It's just that those people are ordinary soldiers. It doesn't suit Hua's taste at all. Otherwise, this big cat will laugh at night again. Then Zhang Yi looked at the corpses all over the ground and sighed. Why do you have to come to me to die? I didn't mean to cause trouble, but you have to force me to do it. It's really annoying. Lu Karen was constantly praising him at this time. She never got over that. Because she felt that Zhang Yi was too amazing. So many people, they didn't even touch the corner of Zhang Yi's clothes. They all got a packed lunch. I can only say that Zhang Yi is really strong and terrifying. But Zhang Yi didn't take what just happened seriously. He turned around and walked up to the SWAT captain. Start devouring his powers. But this man's power is really pitiful. It can only be regarded as a tooth sacrifice for Zhang Yi. Then Zhang Yi groped on this person. Lu Karen asked her boss curiously, "What are you doing? Did he have anything valuable?" After a few seconds, Zhang Yi finally got out of his pocket. "I found what I was looking for. It was a yellow century." Then Zhang Yi smiled slightly. This should be the stimulant of Yangsheng base. Go back and take it to Kier to study. Maybe she finds something interesting. In fact, just from the perspective of drug efficacy, this potion, obviously, it is better than the injection Zhang Yi gave at the beginning. The effect is better, and through Zhang Yi's observation, he noticed that it didn't seem to have any physical requirements. If Kerr can figure it out, when she believes we should be able to use it too, maybe one day I can use her to tie myself up. Afterwards, Zhang Yi found another satellite phone from him. It's a good thing. Give it to Yang Shinshin then. It's hard to say what other useful situations can be cracked. At this time, Lu Karen finally calmed down. She whispered to Boss Zhang Yi, "Do you think they'll send reinforcements? In case they find out the whole squad killed us. What should be done then?" "I don't think it's a problem. Yangsheng base is 200 or 300 kilometers away from us. They're just crowds, plus a lot of resources at your disposal, but I want them to find this squad alone." Unrealistic. Then Zhang Yi said, "Let's go. Complete our mission as soon as possible. Good for the next. Prepare for possible conflicts." Zhang Yi started working again and again. He actually worked with Lu Karen to brainwash Liang Yu. Because of the contact of the 4 major bases, the hand has reached the Shishan district, so before that, Zhang Yi must make Liang Yu give up those students. It was just now, when Zhang Yi went to the exploration field. Friendship quickens its pace. The purpose is to quickly leave the land of right and wrong of Hangyu and group. To save time, he came directly to Hua. Try asking him if he can punch directly through the wall. Hua said nothing, directly changed his body shape, galloping towards the wall ahead. The next second, there's a boom. The roof of the factory building. A big hole was directly pierced by Hua. In this way, Zhang Yi and the two, with the help of Hua, saved a lot of time, successfully entered the factory building. During this period, Zhang Yi is like Lu Karen's little follower. As long as it is the material that Lu Karen likes, everything was put into a space by him, if not for time constraints. On task, he wanted to just evacuate the entire factory, but Zhang Yi knew that the current situation was special. If you waste too much time here, it is very likely to bring itself unnecessary trouble. So after searching a few scenes, he drove back without looking back. At this time, Zhang Yi silently took a breath, because he knows the days ahead will get worse and worse. After all, even the furthest Yangshan base have arrived in the Shishan district. So, there must be other organizations elsewhere. It's just that the territory they occupy is not the same size. So according to the contested speculation, sure it won't take long. The entire Western Hills area will be thrown into chaos. At that time, everyone will definitely compete for supplies. And unscrupulous. Then Zhang Yi suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Since you can't avoid these things from happening, might as well use your eyes. These former enemies, they can help me solve Su Jiaxin's troubles. You're doing yourself a big favor. Then Zhang Yi specifically told Lu Karen, tell her not to. What happened to Yangshan base? Tell others. Lu Karen was obviously stunned for a moment. She didn't understand why Zhang Yi did this. Then she asked her boss curiously, if you don't let everyone know about this situation, they don't know the danger. Are you getting closer to us? What if you're not mentally prepared? You don't need to worry about this, as long as I know the answer. I just don't want to cause panic. Construction of the line of defense. I will also remind them to finish it ASAP. Wait until the time is right. I will naturally tell them the specifics. Lu Karen now, although she didn't understand why Zhang Yi moved like this, but she nodded seriously. Because in her heart, no matter what Zhang Yi's purpose is, she will choose to support his decision unconditionally. However, the reason why Zhang Yi wants so much, just to prevent Liang Yu, when I know this, she was afraid of the safety of the moths. So what happens? She will continue to protect her students. Lu Karen looked innocent from start to finish. Because in her understanding, no matter what Zhang Yi does, he would never harm his own people. However, when Zhang Yi returned to Yangshu Village, he saw a line from a distance, the Great Wall of Ice. Uncle Liu and the others were not idle for a moment. The rough prototype has been basically built. Look at the posture. It should be finished in a few days. At this moment, several people saw Zhang Yi come back. He hurriedly stepped forward to ask how the material collection was. Did you encounter any danger? Zhang Yi just smiled faintly. Means everything went very well. A few words of understatement. It was easy to fool the matter. Liang Yu learned of this situation. Really excited. She's not afraid of fighting. She's just worried about the students. But it didn't take long for Liang Yu to be happy. Zhang Yi continued to say, although we are all safer for the time being, but it's hard to say when it will be attacked. The fortifications still need to be completed as soon as possible. Then Zhang Yi deliberately approached Liang Yu, said that although I don't mind when it's dangerous, get your students to move in. But Lu Karen and Yang Xinshan came to me this morning. They shared their ideas with me. I really can't help it. So I want to ask how to deal with this matter. After all, the conflict between them, it's not been a day or two. If we ignore their thoughts, forcibly let them live under one roof, is it too disrespectful to Karen and Yang Xinshan? Zhang Yi at this time, it is deliberately transferred to Yang Xinshan and Lu Karen. Body. After all, these two girls are also her students. The palms and backs of the hands are full of meat. It depends on which side Liang Yu wants to take. Sure enough, Liang Yu became hesitant after hearing it. Zhang Yi's move is at the bottom of the kettle. Liang Yu thought for a long time. In fact, in her heart, Lu Karen and Yang Xinshan have always been good students, far better than those students. But even so, or put her in a dilemma. However, at this moment, Zhang Yi suddenly waved his hand. Send a password to Lu Karen. It means it's your turn at this time. It's best to give you teacher Liang a critical blow. Seeing that Lu Karen is also understandable. She looked like she wanted to cry. Teacher Liang, why are you? Do you have to let them move to our place? What those people did in the first place was so outrageous. Until now, I'll wake up in my sleep because of this. You do it! Is it too cruel to me and Xing Xing? On the other hand, Liang Yu, when she heard Karen say that, it did put her in a dilemma.